Hello, everybody, and we are back with another episode of our talk show, Love It or Shove It. And it's me, Irina Portnova, with my co host, Bruno Gill. And today we have our dear guest, Brian Swift. Brian, welcome, welcome, and tell a little
Thank
bit
you.
about yourself.
Well, thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be here. Oh boy, about myself. So I spent about 20 years in corporate America in management and training and sales, and then decided, uh, after a successful career, I wanted something different. I wanted my time back, and there were some things that I wanted to do that had more meaning. So I got out of corporate America and decided to, you know, what is something I've always done is been a somewhat of a coach. So I became a John Maxwell certified coach and speaker, and I wanted to write a book, and I wrote my first book calling Up, Getting Up is the Key to Life. And then I ended up writing seven other books in the past 8 years and started my own practice, my own coaching and speaking practice. So that's what I've been doing the last couple of years, and absolutely love the freedom. I love the opportunity. I love helping people, seeing other successful people, reach their goals and get to a better place in life. So that,
Awesome.
yeah, I have my own radio show, which we just had you on. I am here, WJOL 1340 AM. We reach about 60,000 people, and it could be live streamed. So I started I've had this radio show for 3 years, and I have a YouTube channel. And so, yeah, I'm busy. I stay busy. I love being busy. I love making an impact on people.
Awesome, love it. And thanks so much. It was so much fun on your radio show. It was a great experience. All right, and now you're with us. And today we are going to be talking about love beyond labels. Brian, tell a little bit about yourself and your story so people can really connect.
Sure. So, and I don't like to lead this, but I guess what makes my story unique is I broke my neck when I was 17 years old playing football. I was just at the park and playing football like I'd done. I was very athletic, played basketball, football, baseball, and I was running with the ball and just got tackled funny. And I became, overnight, you're 17, you're athletic. I'd been dating a girl for about a year, and all of a sudden, I can't move anything from my neck down. I'm a C6 quadriplegic. And almost all the great things in my life have happened after breaking my neck. It didn't stop me like it does so many people. I've just been very driven and very blessed to keep moving forward, not just in business, but in life. I've been married 35 years. I have three amazing kids. So thank you. I couldn't be more blessed. And it's just,
Mhm.
it is about mindset. And yes, love life is different as a quadriplegic. It is. It doesn't mean it ends. It just means you've got to get more creative, I think. I mean, just the way it is.
You know what? I love what you are sharing, and thanks so much for sharing because a lot of times people just, like saying, oh, like love is not meant for me. Love is not in my cards, like I'm not young enough, or I'm not smart enough, or I'm not good looking enough, right? So, like, all these excuses put out there just to define why people cannot really connect with somebody on a deep level. What kind of advice would you give to them?
You know, uh, okay, so I never thought of myself as a great looking guy, but and then you break your neck and now you're in a wheelchair. And now, I'm competing with, if you think about it, you're out there putting yourself out. I like companionship. I like sex as much as the next person. I enjoy intimacy, but now you're trying to compete out there in a world where you're in a wheelchair. And so many people give up on that. And like you said, they feel they're not worthy, maybe, they don't deserve it, whatever that feeling is. And I just stayed who I was. I was always a sarcastic guy. I was always funny. And I'll be honest with you, even in the wheelchair, I had no problem finding girls that wanted to go out and just enjoy life. Like, they, not that they were looking for commitment, neither was I, but they wanted to go out and they wanted to have a nice dinner and they wanted to share time with somebody and they wanted to laugh. And I think
Mhm.
more is that ability to laugh and just share life with somebody. And so I, I you know, I've always dated when I was younger before I got married. I didn't get married till I was 27, and not a lot of people are looking for that dude in a wheelchair to marry and spend the rest of your life with. And I've been very blessed to, even when I was 20, 24, 25, to be able to, reach out and whether it was, you run into somebody at a library, you run into somebody at church, or out, be able to have a conversation with somebody and turn that into something more if you wanted, whether it was a dating relationship, whether it was just a friendship. You just, for me, it's being authentic. And I've just always been very blessed to be optimistic. So I've been blessed to I've always usually had somebody in my life as a girlfriend or as a gal pal, until I got married. And then even being married, I have a lot of people in my life. A lot of them are women, that are just friends and friends of the family that just like getting together and laughing and doing stuff together. And I think you got to be genuine. Um, as I tell I've told some of the people I coach and my kids who are now all in their 20s, like, what do you bring to the table? What do you have to offer somebody? Because you're a resume, and are you that type of person that you want to go out with? You know, are you a fun person? Are you an inspiring person? Are you a motivating person? How do you dress? How do you act? You know, all those things I just think are important. And I am definitely an old school guy that feels like, when you take a girl out, it's your responsibility to, treat her the right way. And I, I, I just think it's, for me, it's a lot of common sense. Just, it goes back to the old rule, kind of, you kind of get what you give. And I just always treated people the way I'd want to be treated. So I've been very blessed to have people in my life.
Oh my God. I just love what you shared. And it's like there is such a beam of light just shining through you, Brian, and everything what you are sharing. Remember, it's just, like to connect to the audience and to say, hey, it's not about how we look or how we walk. It's about who we are inside, right? And
Right.
I love how you said about the sense of humor because for the list of the qualities of the man of my dream, it's, humor is like number one. If the guy doesn't know how to make me laugh, it's not my guy. So like I can totally relate to that. Bruno, what do you have to say about everything?
No, I totally love it. First of all, hi Brian.
Hello.
Um, I love what you shared. Congratulations for your inspiring story. You're a very inspiring person, and obviously you are, and you don't need anybody to tell you that because you know that by yourself, and that's even better. Yeah, I totally agree. It's like Irina said, it's like it's not about how you walk or how you talk or how you dress or whatever. It's about who you are. And so, it's like um, no matter a person's disabilities, right? It's who you were and who you are still, right? That made those women laugh, that made those women want to be your friend, right? Um, and
And,
so, yeah,
yeah,
no, go on, go on.
no, I was to say, it is, it truly is who you are. And people can see through that. So when I roll into a room, I don't roll in like this poor guy in a wheelchair. I roll into a room with confidence. I've been blessed to do that. I'm very confident. I roll into a room, and people, the biggest compliment I get is they don't even notice the wheelchair, because I
Mhm.
roll into the room like it's my room. I own the room, and here I am.
Yes, sir.
You want an opportunity to have fun? Come
Yes,
on
sir.
over. Let's talk. So, a lot of people are baffled by how can somebody in a wheelchair have so much confidence. And I just, confidence comes with achievement, and it comes with a lot of failure. And in order to have a lot of achievement, you're going to fail a lot. But if you learn from those failures, they're not losses. They're educational opportunities to get better. So I've always been okay with trying things and failing. I remember years ago, before I was married, going out to a club and asking somebody to dance, and I'd get turned down 20 times. But you know what? Maybe that 21st time the girl says yes. And I'm okay with I was okay with that. Like, that didn't bother me. So I got turned down. Now it's how many times can I get turned down? I don't care if it's 10 times. Maybe it's, I don't care. Somebody will eventually say yes. So I just approach life that way. I've been very blessed.
I love what you shared, Brian. Confidence is sexy. And a lot of men don't have it. And like you said, a lot of men hear a couple of times no, and they kind of, completely just deflate, right?
Shut
So it's
down.
so important. It's so important for, like, no, not to like really discourage us. I can even relate myself. Like, I was always brave with the guys. It's like, if I like somebody, I could just literally can walk to them and I can tell them that I like them, right? And I'm like, did I ever scared that somebody's gonna reject me? No, I was like, if they reject me, it's their loss. It's not mine.
Absolutely. And I've been lucky to just kind of have it that way. I found out honesty is the best policy with girls. I mean, there were times I had a girlfriend, and I'd meet somebody and I'd be like, I've got a girlfriend, I'm sorry, but they're like, well, that's okay, could we still be friends? And I just, I found that works. It shows through. I'm just, I'm sarcastic, I'm honest, I'm a fun guy. It is just who I am. I'm in a wheelchair. That is just a part of me. And if you want to have a part of this, then you join my world. It's that simple. And I join your world, because relationships are a two-way street. And I'll be there to laugh with you, and I'll be there to cry with you. I just try to be genuine and authentic.
Love this. Bruno, you wanted to say something.
No, absolutely. Like, it's like, a lot of men, they shut down when they get rejected. And, it's like, you don't, it's not a disability that will make you stop being as magnetic as you want to be, right? Because a lot of people, they're very superficial. They will have automatic subconscious beliefs based on the way they were raised. So sometimes it doesn't even have anything to do with the person itself, right? Sometimes it just has to do with the way they were raised and what they believe and what they were taught to believe and the conditioning they receive, and they're not even aware of that same conditioning, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so, it's like, like, I mean, like, it's like, kudos to you, man, because, like, it's like, takes a lot of bravery. Takes a lot of bravery to, at 17, see your whole life change in a way that we never thought before. It's like, it's like, sometimes I think, like, for example, like, it's like, I'm 23 years old. But, it's like, sometimes, even now, like, I think, like, if I knew that, like, if I knew the night before of my that the next day I would have one of the deepest traumas I've ever had in my life, and, for example, my life would change forever, right?
Right.
I'd be like, well, I'm gonna stay home. Right? I'm gonna stay home.
Right.
I'm gonna close myself, and, right. But that's the thing, we don't know, right? And then we have to learn how to live with it, and that's the thing. And it's like, it's like, the more trauma we get, the more pain we end up getting. I feel like the more we understand that, like, the things we thought we couldn't go through, we did. So what's the fear anymore? Nothing, right?
And
So
as my dad said, like it builds character. All these
Mhm.
tough things, all these failures, it builds character. It either will make you stronger or it's going to send you down a dark hole. And I've just chosen to learn from all the mistakes or all the negatives or all the disappointments, and just realize that we all have them, and it's how you use them. So I have this philosophy, and it's something I teach. It's called sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. Because our philosophy in life is usually sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, which is true.
Mhm.
But I don't lose. I stop,
I love it.
because if you learn from it, it's not a loss. So if something happens and it's negative, if you learn from it, it's not a loss now, it's a lesson. So I try to teach people how to think instead of losing in life, turn it into lessons. You're going to have negative things happen to you. But if you learn from it, now it's a lesson. And now you become a stronger person. You become a more caring person. You become a more interesting person. You become a better person all around. If you think about sometimes you win, sometimes you learn.
I love it. You know what, Brian? It even, like the way you talk, sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. It has such a, like higher frequency as opposed to the phrase that sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, right?
Right.
So I just love how you use that in combination. And it's so true. It kind of, like we are always, coming on the better side of it, whether we win or learn, right? Because that learning is part of the process.
And so is losing. It's just there is not a winner. There's not a great business person, athlete, anything out there who has not absolutely been beaten down and lost and been through tough times. And it's how you use those tough times that really will determine how you come out the other end. And I just choose to really understand that sometimes we don't know why bad things happen, and that's okay. And sometimes, most of the time, it's not our fault that bad things happen, but it's how we handle that. It's our responsibility to move forward. So you lost the game. So you missed the shot. So she said no. So you didn't get that job you wanted. Maybe it was for a good reason those things happened. We just don't always know that. We just have to know we have to keep moving forward and have to keep finding ways to move forward, because it's not always easy. But if you can find those ways to do it, it makes you a stronger, better, confident person, sexier person. It does all those things for you.
Absolutely. And I love what you shared. And remember, we also touched that during the radio show that you invited me for. And let's talk more about the fear of rejection, fear of, like unknown, fear of misunderstood. Brian, what can you share about it?
Well, let's talk about fear. I think we look at fear as so defining of who we are, and it's not. A lot of times, that rejection that you were talking about is the other person's fear. And unfortunately, we're not born with many fears as babies. There's two fears you have as a baby. I think one of them is loud noise, but we're not born with fears. So it's odd that we grow up and we have all these fears. But those are self-limiting beliefs. Most of them are because we doubt ourselves. We have self-limiting beliefs, we have self-doubt. We sometimes will sabotage even our own lives by doing things or not doing things. And you have to, again, it goes back to mindset. When you realize that fear is only temporary and it doesn't define you, because you will learn from it, you learn to have less fears.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Ronald, do you have anything to add?
Absolutely, I have a lot of things to add actually, but not too much because obviously Brian was spot on in what he said. I'm just gonna touch on something: self worth. when it comes to fear of rejection, that fear goes away when you know your own worth, right? It's like Irina said in the beginning, it's like, it's like, no, fuck
Absolutely.
you. I know what I'm worth. It's like, eat shit. I know what I'm worth. So, it's your loss, right? It's like, I feel like I figure that we all know who Mike Tyson is, correct? The boxer, right?
Yes.
And Mike Tyson, he was on a podcast, and like there's like several clips on like short Instagram videos and stuff. And somebody asked him a question, and he said, "What is something that you wish people to know more about you?" And he's like, "Nothing. Fuck you." Like straight up. And it's like it's funny, right? But it just shows I value myself. It's like I don't need to project the idea, and whatever I show, whatever I project, you're going to think whatever you want to think. And I could beg, and I could kiss your knees, and I could kiss your feet, and you'd still only want that to make me believe you're going to think what I want you to think, when you're never going to think that, right? So no matter what we do, we cannot change what people think. No matter what we do, we cannot change how they're going to behave, what they're going to say, what they're going to think. We cannot change a thing, right? And so if we cannot change a thing, then might as well just submit to that, right? And so in any single fear of rejection, fear of unworthiness, fear of abandonment, fear of public humiliation, fear of humiliation itself, fear of speaking up, fear of victory, defeat, whatever fear it is, right? There's always something there. There's always a limiting belief, right? There's always like a wall that people don't cross, right? Because they choose to see that as a bad thing, not as a good thing, right? It's like external external lack of external validation can either be a risk, can either be seen as a risk, which like more than 50% of people on the planet do see it, or it can be seen as a blessing because you're on the right way, right? Simple, because you don't have the life that you want. Let's say, for example, right? So this applies very much to love beyond labels, right? Whatever people criticize, if it's us, if it's our condition, if it's our belief, it's what we do, if it is our own relationship with the ones that we love, right? And so it's again, right? It's always about our. It's always about. I mean, it is always about, but there's obviously more factors, right? But I do like the topic of the self worth, right? Because when you see the worth in yourself, and you know your own capabilities, you know what, right? And you know that whatever comes to you doesn't define yourself, right? You're able to love yourself unconditionally. When you love yourself unconditionally, the fear of rejection, whatever may happen, doesn't even cross your mind. It doesn't even
Yeah.
cross your mind,
No,
right?
you're right. You're right. And we have to care about more what we think of ourselves. And I think it's easier to have that self love when you're accomplishing things, when you're going in a good direction. You're working out, you're eating healthy, you're mentally better. I mean, we all go through tough times, but when you're on the right path, man, that just it gives you such a strong mindset. And as Mike Tyson has said, going back to him, he learned more about himself in prison than he did through all the successes. I mean,
As a
he
kid.
talks about he became a greater man being in prison and having all those great things taken away from him. He said those were the best times of his life because he finally valued himself for who he was, not for what others thought of him.
Yeah, facts.
I love it. That's so great. So, Brian, can you share like some of the, like special moments that you love to do with your wife? Like what makes your relationship strong? Because, like the more we go in the relationship, sometimes it feels like relationship needs
Yeah,
like
it gets stale.
another way. Yes.
No, it does. It does. 35 years. I mean, who wants to eat chicken 35 years, in a row? I mean, they get right. I mean, I don't want, as much as I love peanut butter and jelly, I don't want to eat peanut butter and jelly 30, for lunch for 35 years. It gets old. It does. It's hard. It's hard. So you got to spice it up.
Mm-hmm.
You just do. And whether that's, you know, what you lose is you start to spend so much time doing so much and get away from that dating mentality, that like I look forward to being with you mentality. But just think about it, it's 35 years. It's like nobody wants the same shit after 35 years, the same boring stuff. So you've got to get creative. I don't know,
Mhm.
so what does that mean? I don't know. Maybe get toys involved. Maybe
Mhm.
throw her on the table occasionally or on the kitchen
Mhm.
Yeah.
counter. I mean, it just you do. I'm sorry. That is
No,
No,
really
no.
nothing to be
Uh,
sorry.
do not
That's
apologize. Don't
what
ever
people,
apologize, my friend. No, no,
that's
no,
what
no
people
apology.
have to realize, you know.
what about like fooling around in the car or in the elevator where you shouldn't. You just got to get back to where you
Mhm.
were back years ago, and you're in the elevator. Hit the stop button, let the alarm go off, and go for it. I mean, that's what life's about, man. Life's too short to lose out, and you're with somebody a long time. It gets difficult, but you know what? I enjoy the intimacy so much, and maybe again, it's a change of pace. Do something that you might not have done before. Hit that stop button on the elevator, throw her over your lap. You know, just go for it. At this point in life, life's so short. We're here for a blink of an eye. When
Right.
you think about it, I mean, I'm all about variety. I don't care. I mean,
Mhm.
it's variety comes in a lot of different ways. So I'm all about spicing it up. I mean, if you want to watch, turn on porn. If it's something you've not done before, try it once. And I'm not about,
Mhm.
I'm talking about crazy kinky stuff. But if that's your thing, and you're not hurting,
Exactly.
if you're not hurting anybody, it, and
Right.
you're both consent to it, giddy up. That's all. Like what I go for it.
Brian, I just know now why the girls were always around you. Now I can see that, right? So it's all about just being creative, right? And we all have that creativity side to ourselves, but it's all about just being open and, like explore, right? Because a lot of times people complain, oh, like my wife is boring or my husband is boring, but they are not willing to do anything about it.
No, I mean you have to. I'm sorry. You know what? When's the last time you grabbed your girlfriend out in public and you really had an embrace with her or whatever that is. I mean, like I said, when's the last time you were in the car and whatever you did something that you hadn't done in forever, or she did something, or you both did something. I mean, why not? I don't know. Life's too short for that. You're at
Mhm.
a party. You know what? Join the Mile High Club or join the party club. Go, just make it interesting. You have.
Mhm.
Life's too short not to.
I love it, Brian, especially, just understand that it has nothing to do with the age because a lot of people are like, oh, we are adults and this is not appropriate. We are not kids anymore. Why
I
not? We all are, like we all have that inner child inside of us that always playful, always curious, always, there just for the fun and experience and to do something and just truly experience the life in all different aspects. Bruno, I know you wanted to say something.
No, no, I was just listening and I was agreeing and I was observing and I loved it. I loved it because it's like every setback we have is actually is actually a push forward because we have like with a setback, number one, we have no other chance, like we have no other choice but to push forward. But number two, we come to the realization that like the worst happened, now it's time for the best, right? And so if a similar situation is can or happen in the future, even if it happens, like I don't care, I went through this before, it wasn't that tough anyways, my anxiety was just lying to me, right? And that's the thing, is like the anxiety lies a lot to people. I feel like people don't know how to deal with it. And so that's something that like people should really kind of try to right, that thing about like we talked in the beginning, that thing about I'm not speaking up, yeah, because it doesn't look that good, or yeah, because people don't do it much, or other people are not doing it, if the neighbor is not doing it, I don't want this, I don't want that. That's all like that's like you didn't learn that. Okay, that was your parents. Okay, that's what your parents did. Okay, like you're not supposed to live the life that your parents want you to live or the life they live. You're supposed to do whatever you want. Okay, no matter what. Simple. And so um, something that really happens is, for example, not only, for example, like this is something that I've been like kind of I've been reflecting a lot about this. Not only I've been reflecting a lot about this, I've been in networking stuff with other people and all that, right? Um, and we the topic actually came right to the table, which is obviously the time, right? The time is our most valuable asset, and it's like you'll never be as young as you are now,
Yeah.
right? And then number two, it's like, for example, again, like I'm 23, right? If I live until I'm 80 years old, if you divide 80 divided by 4, it's 20. I'm 23. That means a quarter of my life is already over, right? Which means that, like, am I really that young? I mean, if maybe like when it comes to my body, people look at my body like, oh, he's so young and stuff, but a quarter of my life is already over,
Right.
right? And so when people are young, right, it's like, oh, I know it's fine, it's all right and stuff, but the body gets older, right? The world changes, right? If you do not try to take care of yourself as much as you possibly can, you're actually rejecting yourself from your own potential, from your capabilities, right? And so because time sometimes takes its time, let's say, right? A lot of people, there's positives in time taking its time, right? That means that people have the time, right? But if it's a lot of time with all the possibilities they had and they still didn't do anything, when people then do get to a later age, they're like, oh my god, I had so much time and they didn't do anything, right?
We live different lives because you're going to look back in 20 years and your first 23 years is going to seem like a lifetime ago. And you've just got to embrace every moment you can because it goes by so quick. You're going to blink and you're going to be like, holy crap, I'm 37 years old now. And you're going to look back and go, where did those 14 years go? What did I really do? Or what did I miss doing? And man, live it. You've got to live it. And that doesn't mean you've got to be crazy or do illegal things. I'm not saying that, but you got to live it and you got to have fun. And those moments that you do live it, those really stay with you and they'll help you continue to stay young as you age. So
Mhm.
the more you do now, the more I believe it helps you stay young as you get older.
Absolutely.
Right.
I think it's all in the mindset, Brian, because a lot of times, like the news, the information projects are different. Like they always try to scare us, like at certain age, you're gonna have the Alzheimer, or like your bones are not that strong, and all of that garbage is actually programming our minds not in the best way. And people actually take this as the reality, and that's exactly the reality that they are experiencing. But the people who know better, right, like us, and have more awareness, they know that age is just the number, and we can be as like as like fun and young and do everything, right? So when we have our mind on something and we truly feel alive every moment in our day, that's exactly what like defines to be aware person, to be person who is awakened to their own truth.
Yeah. Yes. And we're all so different and we shouldn't be comparing. I mean, I can't compare myself to somebody not in a wheelchair, somebody in a wheelchair. I just don't do that. I am just who I am, and I embrace that. And uh, as you said before, having that self worth. I know what I'm worth. I know what I bring to the table, and if you want to be a part of that, you join in, and if not, that's okay. And life's going to go on, um, with you or without you. So, bring as much as you can to the table. That's, make yourself the best you can be, especially mentally and physically. I mean, I work out every day. Um, I try to be the best me I can be, and then try to be better me tomorrow. And if you want to be a part of that, you be a part of that, and that's okay. And if not, I'm okay with that. So that's just the way I've been blessed to live.
I love it. I love it. I love our conversation. It kind of, like goes like a river in different directions, but it's all important pieces, right? It's important pieces. So
Oh yeah,
I think it's very important for people to connect to, like who they are and what they want in this life. And then like once they figure this out, then they know exactly what kind of partner they want, what kind of love life they want. But everything takes some deep thinking to really understand, right? What exactly is something that makes that person feel good and makes that person be alive, right? Because to each one of us it's something else, but it's important to know what it is. Like, you don't want to be like somebody else. You want to have your own your own likes, dislikes, and be just your,
we've
your
got
your unique self, right?
we've got to be authentic. Exactly.
Exactly. Because, like authenticity is the highest vibration, even higher than love. And a lot of times it takes us a while to peel all that onion to really come up to what exactly is mine and what exactly was given to me by my parents, beliefs, by my school teachers, by university, by the friends, by everybody else, right?
Yeah.
So when you start living without the fear of who is gonna say something when you are doing something in your life, and just like really get in tune with yourself, because like Brian, you mentioned, like today we are here, tomorrow we are gone, and nobody is even remember. So why do people care so much to impress others? While suffering themselves, right? So there is no need to do that. Just like really understand what you are here for and what makes your boat rock, and just go and do whatever it is.
That's really awesome,
Absolutely.
actually. Sorry, Brian. Let me just step in here for a second. I need to say this. It's really interesting because I was on a plane just now, like literally like 4 hours ago. I just literally arrived where I was. I was talking to this woman, right, and she was going to Turkey. She was studying there and stuff. Whatever, but that doesn't really matter. But it's really interesting because I was literally having that, like what we were just talking now, right? What Irina was just saying now was literally what I was telling her actually on the plane. Like she was like next to me and we just started talking and stuff, and that was literally that. And it's funny because like I just remember telling her, um like people have more things to worry about than the things you say, right? It's like there's caring and wanting to connect, and there's wanting to distract yourself, right? Because you need something to think about because you don't even know how to think, right? There's two different things, right? And so 99% of people are like that. They just want to distract themselves and think about something else other than, the life they don't really like to live, right? To not be rude and aggressive towards the situation, right? And so I feel that, I just believe that, like people have kids to worry about, people have water and electricity and gas and food and kids, again, like I said, families, mothers, fathers, right? School, job, spare time, to really, like, that for people matters more than whatever you didn't do, right? And at the same time, it's one of those things where, like, for example, I'm gonna I'm gonna touch on something here different. I don't know if you both of you have watched the movie Scarface.
I've
Yeah, a
seen it.
long time ago.
Long time ago, right? So yeah, so Tony Montana and stuff, right? So right, amazing movie, by the way. I love that movie. So very real movie. And so there's a restaurant scene, right? where like he's wrong and he gets out of the thing is like, it's like, how did he say? It's like, you need me to be the bad guy so you can point your fucking fingers, you know. So so here's the bad guy you'll never see, and he's right, because the reality is that a lot of people they need they need an enemy, right? And it's the wrong enemy, right? And the manipulation they use with themselves,
Yeah.
right, is that you're the enemy because it's like you're the enemy because I don't like you because of the way you are, because of this, because of that. But it has nothing to do. It's like people take it so personally, right? And so and sometimes I tell people it's like, but don't take it personally. It's like you're not special. Like you are special, sure, but whatever, like all that attention you receive in a very negative way, right? That's not what makes you special. What makes you special is what you are. Again, right? We come back to not the superficiality, but what you are, right? Not your disabilities, but what you are. Not the color of your skin, but what you are. Not how poor or rich you are, right?
Right.
But how you are, right? Um, because a rich guy with no confidence, right, is not as respected as a poor guy with confidence, and that's facts. That's like women are like
Yep.
on that. You're like straight up facts, right? And so, right, I say that because it could be like it could be anybody, right? It could be anybody, right? It's like if people wouldn't do that with me, or they wouldn't do that with Irina, or they wouldn't do that with you, Brian, they would do it with somebody else. So it has nothing to do with you specifically. It has to do with the way you are. But if somebody was the way you are, they wouldn't mess with you. They'd mess with that person, right? So it's the essence, not the physical body. It's the essence of the being, right? It's the personality, it's the character, right? And
That's a
so
lot
it
of
is, yeah, yeah, right. Go on.
that. It's a lot of intangibles. I mean,
Mhm.
we've all seen it. You see the way somebody walks into a room. And it might not be the tallest guy or the most good looking, but he has that air about him, right? You see a girl
You're
walk into the room, and it's the way she's smiling and or something in her eyes. She may not be the most beautiful, but there's something about her. It's those intangibles, and we worry about some of the things that are tangible that we get caught up in worrying about things we don't need to be worrying about and placing them, giving them too much importance and not worrying about some of these other things that we can control ourselves, learn about yourself, become the best you can become, and grab that confidence, walk into every room like you own it, and it'll show through.
right.
Absolutely, absolutely. And confidence is very important in love and relationship, right, Brian? What would you add to that?
Absolutely. Yeah, women love confidence. I mean, guys are intimidated by confidence.
Hmm.
Right.
Absolutely. So, what do you think? Who are more confident, men or women?
Oh boy, that's a good question. I don't. I'm going to say guys, but not by much. Not
Hmm.
by much. I'm saying it's close. It's very close, but I'll say more guys.
Bruno, how about you? What do you think?
I will say, guys, it's not a biased opinion because I'm a man, and I obviously believe Brian as well. But it's just because it's in our DNA, right? Like not look like we are literally in one of the most peaceful times on planet Earth that we ever lived. Okay, like literally 80 years ago or 70 years ago, Second World War
Yeah.
was literally ending or starting or whatever it was, right? So we never been in as a peaceful time, but in every man's DNA, there will always be that competitiveness. Always,
Oh yeah.
always, always. Like, it's a part of us. It's a part of us.
Yes.
It's like the average man, right? cannot stand to look at another man who has it all together, right? Let's say like all together, right? Like which that's not really the case,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
And cannot be like I want that. Like it's like this doesn't exist. Like men are competitive by nature, and that's what it is. And I don't want to sound aggressive, right? But this world is made of killers. And honestly, like, and when I mean killers, I mean like guns and stuff. Like no, I mean like competitiveness. Like the edge. It's like it's time to go. There's time to have fun, and there's time to be serious. And that's it. And the world belongs to those people. Like the world
Men,
belongs to the people who are
men
out of their minds.
yeah. Men
It's
are
just
meant to be. We are meant to be a dangerous person, and I don't mean that in a hurtful way, but dangerous being. You have to be capable of being extremely confident, and especially in a man's world, and portraying this image that you have to other men. And it is truly just an DNA, and it goes back to competitiveness. I mean, I don't think I've ever done anything without wanting to be the best or winning at it with the group of guys you're with.
Yeah,
If it's just
absolutely.
a pickup game, I want to kick your butt. I know you're my friend, but I'm going to beat your rear end. I mean, I'm going to kick your ass because, and then afterwards we'll have a. It's just the way
Yeah,
it's. Yeah, we're wired to just to have that confidence.
that's just the way we're wired.
Yeah,
Simple. And it's funny because like it's really funny because like it's like men are really like I mean I mean even today like men are still like pushed to be masculine and stuff. But I just feel that like even when men are not being masculine, like it hurts. Like it hurts when like there's something within you that for some reason is like it's like when you bow down to a guy, not as a form of respect, but a form of like like you're scared. It hurts. It's like no, there's no bowing down. Like fuck no. It's like that's not happening. I rather die now. It's like because that's how we are. Like that's how like literally like and that doesn't mean that like because that's how we are.
right.
Because that's how that's it. And it's like when you just look at your life and you're like, oh my god, like it's like what the fuck, like I'm gonna die in 60 years. I'm gonna die in 70 years, like what the hell?
Yeah,
It's like I'm gonna die anyways. It's like people are so afraid of speaking about this, and I'm like, why are you afraid of speaking about something that is gonna happen anyways, my friend? It's like, oh, I know, but yeah, it's like, it doesn't matter though. You die with a bullet in your head, you die. You die in your sleep, you die. But you're dead anyways. It doesn't matter. But don't, and I tell them, but don't worry, because I promise you, I guarantee you this. You'll be too dead to feel anything else, anyways. So
no, you got to live your life and control what you can control. And the more you do, the more you accomplish, the more people I help, the more confident I get.
Mhm.
So I mean, you get what you want out of life by helping others get what they want out of life, and that has been a success for me and many people I know, and I will continue to live by that.
Absolutely, absolutely. That is such an amazing and fun conversation. Brian, anything else you would like to share with the audience
My gosh,
for
no,
them?
this has been great. I appreciate the opportunity. I mean, it's such a topic we could talk for hours, I'm sure, because it can become such a deep topic. But it's been a great organic conversation that's gone in so many directions that you could continue to talk forever. Thank you for having me on your show. And if you're ever looking for a guest again, I loved it. I enjoyed it. Both your talk.
Absolutely. Come
absolutely.
back anytime. We will unpack other topics. There are so many topics on love and relationship, and we posted all the links. So reach out to Brian and just continue loving yourself, continue loving the people around you, and continue loving this life because that's all it matters. Thank you so much, Bruno. Anything else?
Have a blessed day and go out and live.
Absolutely, and that's how we should do. Thank you all. See you next week.